Alright, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I kind of wanted to do something a bit different. This is something I don't normally do on my channel. Today I wanted to discuss Louis Tomlinson and his debut album, Walls. A lot of you who are subscribed to my channel probably do not care about Louis Tomlinson, probably do not care about One Direction. But considering how my videos lately aren't really gaining too many views, I thought why not just go ahead and make a video that I want to make. His album came out literally just today, and I wanted to talk about it because as somebody, backtrack a little bit, One Direction, right now BTS is my favorite band, but from middle school all the way up until once I started liking BTS, One Direction was like my thing, and they still are my thing, but obviously they're not active right now. One Direction has like that, they're my boys, like they were my first concert. I look up to all five of them. Liam not as much anymore, we all know why. Okay, so Louis is in One Direction. I still say is, not was, because I still think they're gonna come back eventually. Louis is in One Direction, and if you've ever listened to a One Direction song or seen a One Direction performance, you might notice that Louis was never really the center stage. He never really got the most time to shine. And I know a lot of people just think like why was he even in the band? He's not as good looking, he's not as talented, and I'm here to like defend him because like I said, I love all five of them. Liam, that's a separate topic. Louis is, I think he's kind of like unique. I personally am a fan of his voice, and that's not like the nostalgia factor of One Direction. That's not because I look up to him so much. It's just I do think he has a nice voice. I think he has a pleasant tone. I think his voice in and of itself has a very unique sound that I'm sure you can show me different artists that have like the same kind of sound as him, but he has this like rasp accent mix in his voice that it sounds nice to me. I personally like it. I know a lot of people who don't, but I also know a lot of people who do. So it's obviously like it's up to your own ears. And Louis is well aware of the hate that he gets. He's well aware of the fact that he was not the most talented in the band, and he's gone on record and has stated that. Now that all the One Direction boys are no longer making music together, they all have their own solo careers. Now that Louis put out his album, they all have their own solo albums. And obviously, even if you're not a fan of Harry Styles, you know who Harry Styles is at this point. You see him everywhere. He's on TV, he's in movie. I was gonna say movies, but he's not gonna be in The Little Mermaid. Like, you know who Harry Styles is. He's everywhere. He's touring all the time. He's in Gucci ads. Like he's doing it all. And I love Harry. If you look at my past videos, I literally just saw him last month. Like, Harry is my number one. Because of the fact that Harry is doing he's doing so well on his own, that people kind of bring up the argument of like, why do the other four even bother? Should they even be making music? But like, I think like, why does that matter? Like, why does it have to be one? I understand that like Harry's music is on a different level of quality compared to the other members, but that does not mean that the other members cannot put out their own music. They're putting out their own music on their own terms at their own level of quality. To them, this is as good as they can put out on their standards. Not everyone's gonna be able to put out Fine Line. Not everyone's gonna be able to that's not to say that just because Harry's on a different level of quality of music that he's putting out, that's not to say that what the other boys are putting out isn't as good. I mean, it's not as good, but that's not to say that their music isn't good at all. And that's kind of like what people are making it out like, you know? Like, that's what people are it's like they're implying that because of the fact that Harry's music is so good, that anything else that's not as good put out by the other members is like automatically trash, which is not true. Slow Hands by Niall Horan, like that song was everywhere when it came out. That song really helped push Niall into his own. Pillow Talk really helped push Zayn into his own. He doesn't tour, he just puts out the music that he thinks is good, the music that he likes to listen to. Just because those songs or those albums or those artists are number one for like 2 3 weeks straight like Harry was, that's not to say that the music they put out is not good. So now back to Louis. If the other members of One Direction are already being dragged and criticized and compared to Harry Styles, and they were like not the least favorite in the band when the band was relevant, they're still relevant, but obviously you know what I mean. Imagine that for Louis. In the band, he was already sort of treated differently. There definitely was a huge chunk of people who stood by Louis and defended him and appreciated what he brought to the band. And I feel like a lot of people just assume, oh, they're a boy band, all they do is sing and look nice. But like, although that's true, Louis wrote a lot of the songs from One Direction, and I feel like a lot of people who don't know much about One Direction did not know that. But on One Direction's best-selling album, Louis Tomlinson wrote the majority of those songs. To completely shut him out and cast him aside and say he should not be making solo music is wrong. I don't think that's fair, and I personally think, and I know a lot of people who also like Louis think he deserves better. He's a good songwriter. He gets what he wants to say across well. The songs that, like, it's just, his songwriting is good. And people completely disregard it, and they're like, oh, okay, well, he should just stick to songwriting. He doesn't have to sing them. But it's like, that's so unfair to say. He has the audience to put the music out. He has the capability, like, he has the, what's the word I'm looking for? He has, like, the resources. He can get to where he can get to the studios. He can get to producers because of One Direction. And he has the opportunity to put his written words with his own voice. And I don't think just because of the fact that he isn't the greatest singer, that doesn't mean he shouldn't be allowed to. His debut album, Walls, was just released. I listened to it today. I listened to it front to back, top to bottom, and overall, I would say that this album is like if you've listened to the One Direction solo albums, like the members' solo albums, obviously Fine Line's number one. I would say maybe Harry Styles and Mind of Mine are number two, or tied for number two. And I would say Flicker, number three. And I would put Walls at number four. And I would put Icarus Falls at number five. And then Liam's obviously at the bottom. Sorry. Not really. Putting Mind of Mine and Harry Styles tied for number two, and then putting Walls at number four is definitely fair to say, because the music isn't my cup of tea at the moment. If he had released this same album 2 years ago, I would have been all about it. I would have been obsessed with it. And that's not to say I did not like it. I really enjoyed the album. My favorite thing about it was being a fan of Louis for so long, you see his growth in this album. You see how much effort and time and care and passion he put into this album. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would put this album at a 7. And that's just because of my personal tastes. I'm sure some people might give it a 10, some people might give it a 1. I give it a 7. But you can definitely see Louis Tomlinson's growth in, like, if you listen to anything from One Direction compared to anything on this album, you can just tell. You don't even need to know much about Louis Tomlinson to see the growth, to hear the growth. He obviously wrote on the album. He wrote on every song on the album. Something I found really interesting, and I tweeted about it. The writing on this, like, obviously, when people write songs, they write it about someone or about a thing, and it's typically reminiscent. Like, you know, like a lot of times, like, oh, here I'm singing about a memory, I'm singing about something that's happened to me. To me personally, Louis' writing on this album, it feels like he wrote down what he wanted to say to whoever these songs are about, and it's like these are words that he's never said to them before. It's like stuff they had a conversation and the person walked out the door and he had said, "Wow, I wish I could have said this to them." That's what this album feels like to me. That's what the songwriting feels like to me. And at least off the top of my head, I don't know, I don't listen to like a wide variety of artists. I have my safe bubble that I replay all the time and that's it. So to me, his songwriting in this album is a bit different from what I'm used to. It feels like I'm eavesdropping on a private conversation that he's having with whoever these songs are about. And I think that's kind of refreshing. I think that's kind of nice. It feels very honest. It feels very genuine. It feels very real. Like it's as if I'm put in the shoes of whoever these songs are about, and he's saying, "Hey, this is how I feel." And there's something so vulnerable about that that I think is really cool, and that I personally would like to see other artists do. I think, actually, now that I think about it, I think on Shawn Mendes' last album, he might have had a few songs like that, and I kind of like that. You know, it's nice. It's If you guys can think of any other songs or artists or albums that do that, please let me know because it'd be nice to feel that level of like it just feels very like he's like you're close to him. And now on to the vocals. Obviously, we are all aware of the fact that Louis Tomlinson does not have the strongest vocals. And that does not bother me, to be honest. Like, you can give me someone with the most perfect technique, but if they don't have that connection to the material, I'm not interested. I know that Louis does not have the greatest voice, but he's so connected to every single word that he sings that I don't care if he's off pitch or if he's flat. You know, like, obviously I would prefer if whoever I'm listening to could hit the note every time. But, like, these lyrics mean so much to him that, like, it balances out. I think that sincerity and that level of rawness isn't typically found too often in an artist. Like, mainstream artists, at least. So it's nice. And there are a few songs on the album where you can definitely tell that he's been really trying, that he's been really putting in the effort, that he's really been practicing to improve for himself. You can tell that he wants to be better for himself when it comes to performing. I have two songs off the album that I think it really shows how much he wanted to improve, and that's Always You and Only the Brave. And that's not to say that his vocals on the other songs aren't good. I'm just saying that on Always You and Only the Brave, his lyrics, well, the lyrics too, but his vocals really shine. Those two songs, his vocals are some of the greatest I have ever heard from him. And I have been a fan of Louis Tomlinson since I was 12. I'm 20. This is 8 years of liking somebody, and this is the best I've ever heard them. Louis Tomlinson is not the greatest singer. At that point, I need to stop saying that because we all already know it, and that's not going to get us anywhere. But knowing that, and then hearing the vocals on those two songs, he's really improving. I really do think that more people should give him credit. I don't really know. I'm not the kind of person that you want to come to when it comes to reviews. This is probably very biased of me. I'm sure you can tell at this point that this is very biased of me. But, you know, I'm personally tired of all the Louis slander. I understand he's not the greatest looking. I understand all the criticisms. But I find it so rare for a mainstream artist. And I mean, I know some people will say he's not mainstream because of the fact, like, because he's not trending, or that he's not, like, charting, he's not at award shows, he's not winning awards, whatever. He's still a mainstream artist because he has such a large following. He trends on Twitter. He's still, you know, he's still active. He's still relevant. He's still invited to things. So to me, he's a mainstream artist. And I think it's rare to see a mainstream artist really just try as much as he does. I mean, and again, I'm like, all of what I'm saying, that's not to imply that other artists are not working hard to improve themselves, but it's just that Louis Tomlinson has had to work much harder to gain respect. I don't know, I just really think that people should put a little bit more respect on his name. That's just me. That's just me. I encourage anyone who's watching, if you haven't already listened to the album, give it a try. I don't know if it'll be a cup of tea. It wasn't entirely mine, but I still enjoyed it. I still downloaded it. I'm still going to listen to it from time to time. And I might even go ahead and buy a ticket for his tour because I have not seen him since the 2015 show in San Diego with One Direction. And it'd be really nice to see him again. If you've listened to Louis' album, go ahead and let me know what you thought about it. If you haven't listened to it, go ahead and give it one shot. Give it one shot. Give it one shot. It won't hurt you. No one's gonna be like, wow, you listened to Louis Tomlinson's album? Get the fuck out of here. No one's gonna say that. And if they do, I'll fight them. Just keep in mind that there's been so much growth and so much care and time put into this project, this album, this new era of Louis Tomlinson that I think he deserves respect and he deserves success. Being as famous as he is, working alongside with the people he worked alongside with, Harry Styles, Zayn Malik, like these are Zayn and Harry. We all know are some of the most incredible voices. You can tell that I'm sure there still is like this immense pressure on Louis to like make a name for himself and gain the respect from people who he'll always be compared. All five of them will always be compared to each other. So I think Louis' growth as an artist needs to be respected. Yeah, like I said, overall, good album. Overall, Louis deserves respect. He deserves success. If you haven't listened to the album, go ahead and give it a listen. I think that might be the end of my rant. Sorry if you were looking for a review of the album of like track by track by track. That's not my thing. I can tell you guys what I think about each track if you wanted me to. I don't think anyone's really gonna care about that. And I'm sure there's already like a ton of other channels that have already like given track by track reviews. I just wanted to discuss Louis Tomlinson. I just wanted to discuss One Direction. I wanted to discuss his new album. I've been itching to talk about One Direction on my channel for a while, and I don't know why I haven't, to be honest. I saw a video, I'm forgetting her name, but I saw a video of this girl on YouTube ranking every single One Direction song, and I'm thinking about doing that because I think that might be fun. That's another video. That's like a treat for myself because I really want to do that. So if you stuck through this whole thing, if you watched this whole video, if you even clicked on the video to begin with, thank you. This video was a lot of fun for me. It was really nice to just sit down and talk about something that I want to talk about, something that I think is interesting, and hopefully I made some valid points. Hopefully you kind of agree with me, and hopefully if you were not even going to consider listening to his album, maybe now you will. Hopefully. And that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'm very sorry about that. Next time I will try better to be more entertaining, or you can just not click on the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, tweet me if it's even more. I'll catch you guys all in the next video. Bye.